This is Musical Talk.
Musical Talk.
The UK's independent musical theatre podcast.
Musical Talk, the UK independent musical theatre podcast.
Welcome to Musical Talk. I am Nick Hudson. I'm sitting here with Dom. Hello, Dom. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
We're going to be talking about Follies this week that Dom and I saw last night. We saw a preview of it. It was a really, really, really interesting evening for me because I'd never really seen a fully staged production of Follies, and we haven't had one in London for a very long time, have we, Dom?
No, the 87, was it 87? Which ran for a while, and that was the Cameron Mackintosh Follies.
Yeah. And you saw that, so tell us about that production.
Well, I knew very little about it before I saw it, and it had already been running because Diana Rigg opened playing Phyllis, and when I saw it was Millicent Martin. So she'd taken over as Phyllis, and also Eartha Kitt had taken over from Dolores Gray playing Carlotta.
And Julie Mackenzie was in it as well, wasn't she?
She was playing Sally, yes. And Daniel Massey and David Healy were playing... Daniel Massey was playing Ben, and David Healy was playing Buddy.
We had a bit of a star cast last night, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
National production. It's playing at the Olivier Theatre. Imelda Staunton and Philip Quast, I guess, are the two...
Sally and Ben, yes.
Sally and Ben, but we also had Janie D and Tracie Bennett, giving us a bit of Judy, you could say.
There was definitely moments where suddenly when she was singing "I'm Still Here,"
She's still here, Judy.
There was definitely a feeling, wasn't there, that she was channeling some Judy there.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. And so accurate.
I mean Judy Garland, not Judi Dench.
Yes, indeed. But her costume as well was very...
And even her movements.
And and the hair. It suited it perfectly, very well. So,
What I loved about this show immediately is the size of not only the production itself, the set and the stage, but the cast.
Oh, yes.
And
incredible.
The orchestra. It was the orchestra that got the biggest round of applause of the night, really, wasn't it?
It did certainly get a huge round of applause.
And I've never seen a conductor take a bow with the, centre stage before. That was quite nice.
I've seen it quite a few times.
Yeah, but you're much older than I am. That's my excuse. So this...
Had a 40-strong cast.
Yeah.
I think, yes.
Does it need a cast that big? Or is this just a national saying, let's show off a bit?
I think it does need a big cast. I mean, you do need... Because you need to have the old cast and you need to have the younger cast. It is so good if you can have a cast this big. And, I mean, they've added extra people who are playing, like, the TV interviewer and the cameraman and the PA. So you've added just these walk-on characters in this production. It is really nice. I mean, I don't think... I cringe to think of a actor-musician version of Follies. I did, because you need to have the grandeur. You need to have this feeling of a theatre falling down. You need to have the girls.
It would work in most pub theatres then, if you need a theatre falling down.
Well, no.
But we were saying on our way home yesterday that Wilton's Music Hall would be a great place to do.
Well, it's an obvious because it hasn't been decorated. I mean, it's this is meant to be the equivalent of a Ziegfeld theatre. Whereas Wilton's Music Hall is a music hall. So you could do an English version of Follies. Not I'm not talking about doing an actual English version of Follies, but you could do a similar story set around it.
It was originally going to be a murder mystery, you were telling me.
It was. And I was just... There's a little bit of information in the... Because I've always been fascinated by that concept, and I've never been able to really pinpoint it. But they do mention it in the wonderful programme. If you do go and see it, well worth getting the programme. It's a novella. I mean, it is... That's so nice to see a really thick, heavy programme.
Without adverts.
Well, without adverts, and it didn't cost a huge arm and a leg. I didn't need to take a mortgage out like you do if you're in the West End.
Once again reminds me of the importance of subsidised theatre in this country and how lucky we are.
Yes.
To have a theatre that will get a cast of 40, an orchestra of 20, a massive set, and just put it on, and a great cast.
Yes,
without
indeed.
worrying about, making money back.
And it was full. It was full. I think it will be. I think the show will sell out. So, but going back on the murder mystery, they do, because I've always been, because I'm fascinated with murder mysteries and also musical murder mysteries.
You've done an episode about it.
I have, yes. But it mentions in here, and it says the original concept was that there is a gun goes off, someone is shot dead, but it's like who shot them and why, and that was going to be the original concept. Is one of the four.
Do you see who gets killed?
I don't know. It just says that the concept was that one of the four gets killed, but you don't know who's died or why or who. And suddenly, if you go down that road and you think, well, Ben gets killed, all three of them, the remaining ones, have a reason to kill Ben. So Sally, Phyllis, and Buddy would all have reasons to kill Ben. So I'm kind of speculating here that in the original concept he might have been the victim. Anyway, I'm playing Poirot. That's here or there because it's not a murder mystery.
No.
However, it still has a mystery
He does
element.
have a breakdown, doesn't he? I mean...
everybody has a breakdown.
Well,
suddenly he and Sally have breakdowns. Buddy has a breakdown as well. I think Phyllis is the only one who doesn't really have a major breakdown.
And this is where I get a bit glazed over with the show because the Olivier is a big stage, theatre, auditorium.
It's enormous.
And
it's a big set.
Well, I struggled to work out who was whom for most of the show because we're so far away. Right. So I got the grandeur of the set, which I enjoyed. But, for example, I said in the Loveland sequence, who sang Losing My Mind and where was Imelda? And you said, well, Imelda sung Losing My Mind.
Yes.
So that sort of says that I was a bit confused as to who was whom, and especially when it gets very complicated, when you have all the couples going to each other's respective partners and talking to each other and things. It was a bit... Is that the show's fault or my fault or mixed with the both? Or is it because I don't know it that well?
It's your fault.
Right. I was giving those beans.
Yes. Yeah, because I think it's quite clear that the four Follies routines at the end are the four...
Yeah.
The two couples.
But you can see where I was coming from, having never seen it before and being a bit confused with the dynamics.
I'm being a bit unfair there because I certainly, when I saw the original production, I did kind of leave kind of going, what went on? There was ghosts and what? And who are they really in Loveland? Are they not?
Are the really ghosts actually there?
Are the ghosts really there? Who can see who? So so you are forgiven. It is a little bit confusing, and also it's you do kind of question. Do they really go to this magical Loveland? Is it really happening? Is it just happening in their heads? Are they all having that moment together? And there's still a lot of questions. Are they really having that moment? Is the theatre really haunted? Is it not? That moment at the right at the end where the young couples come on, the four young Sally, Ben, Buddy, and Phyllis come on. And Wiseman he's kind of appears at the end. It's a very, very good show. I think it has to be one of my favourite Sondheims. I think it is. It's incredibly clever, and I think the book is very strong. It's
very funny as well.
Very funny, and there's some great lines in it. And even these tiny characters just have this great material, and the pastiche numbers are very good as well.
Yeah, I sat there thinking this has, for Sondheim, it has hit after hit after hit after hit, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes,
more so the pastiche numbers.
Well, I don't know because I think I think the other songs are very, very strong. I mean, The Road You Didn't Take. That's that's a hit song. In Buddy's Eyes is a great song. Waiting for the Girls Upstairs. These aren't pastiches songs. The interesting thing was that out of the songs, and this I'd never seen this before, and I might be completely wrong, but Too Many Mornings, which is the song sung by Ben and Sally, and I'd never really thought of this as a because even the non-pastiche songs, they have pastiche about them. And Too Many Mornings, when I watched it, I suddenly went, oh my God, this is Indian Love Call. This is this grand operatic aria. This is all it is like Frimmel and Lehar, and it is this really gutsy duet, operatic duet, and I'd never noticed that before, and the way they sing it becomes so intense, and I'd never seen that number done so powerfully.
Is that one with the two the old lady and the younger lady singing?
No, this is when Sally and Ben are, so
okay.
it's
So that was the one that stuck out in my mind, the real operatic number.
Oh, well, that's beautiful, yes. But that's meant to be.
Which song is that?
That's One More Kiss, which is beautiful when she's singing with the ghost.
Yeah.
But then this was Too Many Mornings, and I'd always seen it as a bit of a. It was an important song, but it never really made much of an impact with me in productions I'd seen before. But this one, I was just blown away by the power, which is perfect because at that moment you're meant to feel that Ben is questioning everything, and is Sally the one? And then she says that thing, and you just go, oh my God, no.
I mean, I don't want to give too much away about this production. I mean, if you know Follies, you know Follies. If you don't know Follies, you'll probably be a bit confused when you see it. But one bit I loved, which you didn't even notice, Dom,
yes,
was after we've had the Loveland sequence and they're going back, we're returning back to the physical space of the decrepit theatre. There's a lit Follies sign.
Yes.
Behind you, and the F and the O and the L don't light up, and all we see is the word lies just flashing, which I think is a really, really clever idea.
Yes, I didn't see it.
No. It was kind of covered by gauze, and I don't know if...
well, no, I'm sure it was meant to be. I'm absolutely sure it was meant to be.
Covered up lies, you could say.
Yeah, well, yes, follies, lies.
It's just the grandness of this show that stays with you, and it was like seeing. It reminded me when we saw 42nd Street. It's like, how much more can they throw at us?
Well, it's just such a tall show as well. I mean, it's just enormous. I mean, it's so tall.
When those girls come down the stairs, they literally come down a fire escape.
They do, and I kept on thinking, oh my God, I want trips. They're all going to go. It is.
Did you see the ghost coming on the other side, though? Because I wonder if everyone was able to see that.
Yeah, no, I don't think everyone did. But yes, as each character appeared, absolutely mirroring them of the other side was the ghost version. Yeah. So what I also loved was as they entered into the party at the beginning, the ghost appeared and followed them. So the ghost was intrigued to see what they were going to. So you almost got the feeling that the future selves were the ghosts.
Yeah, because you do question, are the ghosts the grown-ups or are they the young kids?
Well, they both are, really, because it's like alternate realities happening at the same time. I mean, that
Sondheim does sci-fi.
Oh, yes, indeed. But that is the thing, the ghosts are... they are aware, and well, certainly the past selves are aware of the future selves when they arrive, but it isn't until just before Loveland that the future characters see the past guys.
What's also amazing about the National is that if they need anything, it can be made in the building. So it has its own scenic workshop, it has its own armoury, it has its own costume department. So we think this show probably costs a lot of money to put on, but it doesn't, because it's all done in-house then and there. So the director can say, oh, we want a Follies sign that lights up. They go, okay,
well, do it. I mean, it's still going to cost a pretty penny, isn't it?
Yeah, but not as much as getting outside companies to come in and do it.
No. It's speculation,
and it's great that the National are, we applaud Rufus. I was going to say Rufus Hound, Rufus Norris.
He was very good. Rufus Hound as Sally was wonderful. No, he didn't.
We applaud Rufus Norris for doing Follies, and also very soon doing the musical of the musical of Disney's Pinocchio, which is another interesting, which will I think be running in tandem with Follies. It reminded me also of Merrily We Roll Along.
Why?
Because you see the two different age groups of the same characters.
Okay, right, yeah.
So in Merrily, we don't see them at the same time, but we see them start bitter and hating each other, and as the show goes on, we see them at the beginning.
More idealised.
Yeah, and here you still have them be idealised, and you have them be bitter.
My word.
Idealised? It is now.
Pleasant feeling for the future.
Yes. Their
What's the word for that? Oh, my mind's
their
going.
apprehension,
It's
or
early. Anyway, yes. I agree that you've definitely you have to you certainly have that feeling of that everything is going to be wonderful in the future.
yeah. And there's even a line in the show that says, "There is no hope in life; it's about what you make of it." Which is a jolly nice note to end an evening on, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it was surprisingly. I don't want to say it has an upbeat ending because it doesn't have an upbeat ending, but it didn't feel as bleak as I know Follies can feel. In my mind, I don't know why I thought it was a bleak production, whereas there is a little bit of hope. Certainly there's hope between Phyllis and Ben. Sally says at one point, I should have died the first time. So she's obviously tried to commit suicide before. So you do kind of get the feeling that, I kind of got the feeling that she's going to leave, and at the earliest opportunity she's going to be downing a load of pills or slitting her wrists, I think.
Or both. So what was the difference between this production and the Cameron production?
Well, certainly this was very much set in the 70s. The Cameron one was set in that time. They changed the book and some of the songs when they did it in the 80s. They've restored, so this production is the original book and original score and songs, as far as I'm aware. But because they removed. What did they remove in the 80s song? They removed the road you didn't take, much to a lot of people's chagrin. The 87 one seems to have been, with amongst a lot of people I know who saw it, it seems to be quite polarising. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know the piece at all. I thought everyone was incredible. Everybody who was in it, who was playing the older characters, they really were English performers who were kind of famous for certain things. So, whereas they kind of still are in this production, and what they put an interval in as well. Yes,
this is the kind of elephant in the room thing that people, I can't see that show. It's 2 hours without an interval. So, you go to the cinema.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You happily watch a film.
But you were saying the Cameron production ends. The ending for Act 1 sounded quite cool in a way.
Oh, it was really cool actually, because the end of Act 1 in the Cameron production is where they have the argument. So
chandelier
both couples start arguing, then they start arguing, and then they notice their younger selves, and then they kind of froze, and then they were thrust into the air on this kind of revolve, and it all got very supernatural and bizarre. And then the second act started.
And a hologram of Laurence Olivier appeared.
No. Then you went into Loveland in the beginning of Act 2. They also replaced. Did they replace?
Well, you said something about a house in the country or something.
They put in the song Country House, which I like, which a lot of people don't like, but I do like Country House. I think it's quite a fun number. It doesn't. You don't miss it. And it was written for the London revival anyway. So, and then they also changed the Ballad of Lucy and Jessie, which is Phyllis's Follies number, was changed to a song called Ah But Underneath, which was like a striptease. And then Ben's song Live, Laugh, Love, they changed that to a song called Compose. I have to say I prefer Compose to Live, Love, Laugh. Live, Laugh, Love. Live, Laugh, Love is a bit of an odd. That end moment with Ben losing it and everything coming back to reality, that's the one thing about Follies that I find kind of difficult to get my head around. It never quite feels right for me. Anyway, I don't really know.
The song that stood out for me was ones I didn't know was Could I Leave You?
She does that. Janie D. Oh, incredible.
The question I have at the end, though, because I couldn't quite hear, before the last button of the song, does she say guess or yes?
Guess.
Okay, because I thought she said...
No, she says, could I leave you? Yes. Will I leave you? Guess.
Okay.
No, it's it's a fantastic number. It's a surprising number because I think because it's a very hard number to do. You need to work hard at it, and she just delivered it so well. I mean, it was funny and just gut-wrenching to the point, you know. Losing My Mind, I mean, iconic, absolutely iconic number. Very, very famous number from Follies. Julia Mackenzie did it, stood on this amazing crystal bridge with this sky of diamonds, and this was
Julia in the Sky of Diamonds, you could say.
Yes, indeed. But Imelda did it from
the dressing room, wasn't it?
She was sat at the dressing table, and her mascara is slightly smudged, and it was done very much as a torch song and as a vamp, and it was
she hit the ball out of the park.
She did. I mean, it was great because she did hardly
anything.
She did hardly anything, and yet, you know, she's obviously doing everything. But it was. I'd
love to see that performance up close.
Yes. Well, she sang half of it on the chair and half of it off the chair, and that was it. And she picked up a glass at one point, and that's all she did. And when it finished, I just went, wow. And yeah, it really was.
Now, of course, this is going to be broadcast to cinemas around the world. Would you, speak of seeing things up close, would you...
Yes, I would.
Are you going to see that?
Yes, I would, absolutely. It'll be interesting to know how it... Translates, because I think we were quite lucky because we were up high. We were kind of looking down on the set, and I still think the whole thing. If you're looking up at the set, I wonder if it must have a completely different feeling. So it'll be weird to see it.
But the good thing about the Olivier Theatre is no one has a bad seat.
No, they don't. No, it's really, really good. So I mean, everyone. We should also mention we haven't mentioned Peter Forbes plays Buddy, and he was great. I mean, delivering Buddy's Blues. It's the most exhausting number, and I've tried to sing that once. It is a tough. Actually, I mean, the songs. It is a really tough number, and he does it very well. I have to say, I preferred the staging of Buddy's Blues in the Cameron one, just simply because of the way they did stage it. But
you said there was like a house or something in it.
Yeah, they brought a house on, and it had like different doors and windows that opened, and Julia Mackenzie and another girl were kind of running around and poking out of house doors.
And here we have men dressed as women playing the women,
which is absolutely correct. Being vaudeville, you know, they really did go for that. So, and I think that was right, because you didn't want Imelda Staunton playing the cartoon version of herself and then going on to Losing Your Mind. Although it did work when Julia Mackenzie did it.
It wouldn't have worked in this production.
No, it wouldn't. It was absolutely right that it wasn't her. And he was very good. So.
And we have a Strallen in the show.
We do have a Strallen in the show, yes. Playing young Phyllis. And I mean, everybody was great. And
the band were... You know, we always come back to the orchestra here because they are...
4 violins.
Yeah.
Hooray. Thank God. Oh, it was great, wasn't it? It was good. And yet, we must talk about this because the orchestrations weren't overpowering, which was really interesting. Because they were at the back, you could see them through a gauze, yeah. But they were really understated until the big numbers at the end. They kind of did with Mirror Mirror.
Make sure it's how big that stage is, that the fact there's 40 performers on it and then there's an orchestra of 20 at the back.
Yes, and it still looks like there's room to, produce Annie as well. Yeah. The orchestra really came alive with amplification for the final Follies numbers, but before that, it was almost like they were ghostly themselves.
In the theatre.
Yeah, they were. It was very except for Mirror Mirror, which I have to say I wasn't.
I think we had some sound issues last night, and I think there was some lighting issues, and that will all get ironed out, which
Yes.
is why I'm somewhat curious to go and see it either at the cinema or go and see it again
Yes,
in
indeed.
the theatre. Were you conscious of the interval lacking at all?
No, not at all. And it makes, now I've seen it and experienced it without the interval, it absolutely makes complete sense.
Because the original didn't have the
No,
interval,
no,
and Cameron
it didn't.
obviously put one in to sell ice creams and things.
Possibly, yes. I don't know, because this
There must have
show...
been some reason behind it.
Well, no, but they want to put one in, yes. No, there has to be a reason behind it. But I don't think it's necessarily producers... I mean, it's a decision because obviously it's producing it or whatever. But story-wise, if you look at the book and the story, it makes complete sense not to have an interval because it's almost happening in real time.
Yeah.
So you are finding, although there is a little bit of time, you're experiencing that reunion at the theatre at the same time they are.
It's like Woman in Black having the interval doesn't really work, does it? I've just thought about that because...
It's been so long since I've seen Woman in Black.
But you saw it so many times.
I know, but it was over 30 years ago.
I wasn't bothered by the lack of the... I knew it wasn't going to be one, and I know some people have issues with it because they have to go to the toilet and things. Well, again, you see a film and you can sit... And it's only 2 hours and 10 minutes, so it's not exactly... Henry V or something.
Yes, but for some people, their physical makeup is such that they may not be able to sit without. And I mean, you don't feel so guilty. I think going to the toilet in the middle of a film, whereas I think during a play or a live show it's a slightly different matter. Talking distraction, we had there's a couple of ladies in front of you taking photographs.
Oh, I always get stuck behind the nut jobs in the theatre.
That did annoy me, and these were respectable ladies or whatever taking their phones out, and in fact, I mean, after you spoke to them, one of them didn't.
They took a photograph during the Beautiful Girls. And they might have known someone in the cast or something.
Do I kind of got that feeling. I did get that feeling that they knew somebody in the cast and they were taking photographs for them.
Right.
Because there was just something about these two and I thought, do they know someone in the cast? And I thought, well, if that's the case, that's really bad. That's not bad. So.
But when they start sending text messages, I thought, right, I've had enough of this. So I just politely tapped on their shoulder, waggled my finger at them, and the woman didn't get the phone out.
And in fact, what happened was then when the other woman kept on talking to her, she kind of gave her told her to kind of stop it, sort of thing. It was interesting.
Don't take photos in the theatre, and if you're sat behind me, I will tap you on the shoulder and give you a stern
They're
look.
sat behind in front of me.
If you sat behind Dom, you will get a class 10 scare.
Yes, I can't hold myself back. They have changed the bows to the... I mean, it's a long time since I've seen something at the National.
When were you last at the National to see a show?
I think the last time I was in the Olivier, I was seeing Peter Pan with Ian McKellen.
As Peter Pan?
No, as Captain Hook.
When was that?
Oh, gosh, I can't remember. The last time I was at the Olivier, I saw Something in the Park with George. And what was... the Cottesloe is not anymore. I saw Sweeney Todd with Julie Mackenzie, but they only used to do the bows. They did the bows by all coming out and just standing there, and the lights would come up, and they would never actually take bows.
How weird.
For this, they absolutely.
They've been doing bows for years,
so they have now.
Yeah.
Okay, but this was nice that they actually came forward and they did the bows properly, and there was quite a few. There was cheers, and the four did rightly so get a standing ovation. I do get that feeling. We've been to see shows because you go to see a show on Broadway and it's almost like de rigueur that you have to do a standing ovation. Whereas I do feel in the West End that people actually only give standing ovations when they're deserved, and people do delay and stand up for the standing. And they actually did last night. It was very, very good. It'll certainly do very well at the National. I think it's going to...
They won't transfer it because, it's not like Angels in America where there's a massive demand. And I think what I mean is there aren't queues out the door to get day seats and things like that. For
There
Follies.
might be.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, we'll see what
we'll see what happens.
See what
I mean, it's
with the views. Plus, it's in a much bigger theatre, I think. But I don't see them transferring because it's a massive band, it's a massive stage, it's a massive set, and
I don't think there's any theatre in London that could hold that set.
Not that's open. The New London possibly could, but Rock of Ages is
New London. I thought Rock of School of Rock.
School of Rock same thing. School of Rock is playing there.
Yeah.
I would see it again, and that's always, as we say on the show, that's always a litmus test as to whether you could endure it again.
And would you be interested in seeing another production of it? So not necessarily this one. Do you find as a piece you're intrigued by it?
I would like to get back into my DeLorean and go back to the Shaftesbury Theatre and watch Cameron's production.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Matthew Watchus's production from Broadway.
Yes.
Which is another discussion entirely, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that one. I know people who did see it who weren't that keen on it. I did have friends who went and saw it, and they did not like it at all. They didn't know Follies at all, no. And they did not like it.
But Dominic Cook's done a wonderful production of Follies at the National, and we do urge you to go and see it.
Yes.
Because, it's a classic.
It is, and everybody is incredible in it. It really is. It is just, and it's good, intelligent musical theatre. It makes you think. It entertains. It just ticks all the boxes.
Yes.
Bravo.
Says Musical Talk.
I'm clapping and doing a standing ovation.
Thank you very much for listening, and Dom, it's good to have you on again.
Thank you very much. It's lovely to be back.
I'll speak to you soon.
Yes, bye.
If you hear a slight purring, it's because my cat is sat on my lap at the moment. Say hello. There we go.